Okay guys, so in this station we wanted to go over how to write a good thesis statement as you're getting ready to write your first DBQ. So, main thing when it comes to writing a thesis statement is we have to distinguish a difference between an argument and a thesis statement. So, what is an argument? An argument is where you take a stance. Okay, so oftentimes, when taking a stance, you are expressing a point of view and you're trying to convince your audience of your point of view, very much like how a lawyer argues a case in a court of law. It is not a description or a summary of an item, so you have to take a certain position. So, for example, this is an argument when it comes to a paper. This paper argues that the movie JFK is inaccurate in its portrayal of President Kennedy. Instead of a general statement that says, in this paper, I will describe the portrayal of President Kennedy that is shown in the movie JFK. So argument is taking a certain position. In the argument, you're saying that the movie is inaccurate instead of just describing how the movie portrays President Kennedy. So how to take your argument and create a thesis. Okay? A thesis statement is a sentence in which you state an argument about a topic and then describe briefly, the key word there is briefly, how you will prove your argument. So a thesis statement is typically one sentence, no more than two, okay, depending on how you word it. And it's making a statement like an argument, but then specifically saying how you will prove your argument. So for example, we go back to our earlier argument about the JFK movie. The argument that you made that the movie JFK inaccurately portrays President Kennedy is not a thesis statement yet. Okay, you have your argument there, but you haven't briefly told us how you will prove your argument. So to turn that statement into a thesis statement, the movie JFK inaccurately portrays President Kennedy because of the way it ignores Kennedy's youth, his relationship with his father, and the findings of the Warren Commission. So as a reader of an essay or paper, I'm going to expect some detail about how the movie ignored Kennedy's youth, his relationship with his father, and the Warren Commission, okay, because you've told me that those are inaccurate portrayals. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. That's what creates a thesis statement. It's like the map to your essay. So how to write a good thesis statement? Oftentimes it depends on what the essay is asking, what the question is asking. Sometimes you have to make an argument. Sometimes you have to just look at the content, and sometimes a thesis statement will come based on your own research. So first tip is if your paper assignment asks you to answer a specific question, you turn that question into an assertion, okay, or an argument, and give reasons for your opinion. So for example, your question may have been to write about the portrayal of John F. Kennedy in the movie JFK. Okay, well, your assertion is that it's an inaccurate portrayal. Your thesis is because of the reasons, his youth, his father, and the Warren Commission. Okay? Another way to form is write a sentence that summarizes the main idea of the essay you plan to write. So after looking at content, your thesis statement is that key summary, that one sentence that through all of this, this is the main point I'm trying to make. Okay, that would be your thesis in regards to a summary paper. Sometimes when it comes to questions, we have to do a little bit of research before we can come to our thesis statement. So mulling over our topic. Sometimes we're just given a broad topic and we have to research it ourselves. So we make a list of ideas that we maybe want to include in our essay. Then we think about how to group those ideas under several different headings. Those several different headings may become our reasons and components into a thesis statement. And so going through that process sometimes is when our thesis emerges before us. We don't necessarily start with the thesis statement. So what we'd like for you to do now is to take a look at this sample thesis statement and discuss as a group whether or not this is a good thesis statement. So sample 1. Eleanor Roosevelt was a strong leader as First Lady. So as a group, take a few seconds and think about, is this a true thesis statement? So hopefully in your discussions, you've looked at the fact that there's not really any argument. This is a statement. You're saying that Eleanor Roosevelt was a strong leader as First Lady, but you haven't explained to us why. Okay, that is the key. That's the difference. So this is just a statement. Now you've got to tell us the why part. So to revise it, you might say, Eleanor Roosevelt recreated the role of the First Lady by her active political leadership in the Democratic Party, by lobbying for national legislation, and by fostering women's leadership in the Democratic Party. Okay, so this second thesis has an argument. You have 3 points that you are going to prove to demonstrate to your audience that Eleanor Roosevelt was a strong leader as First Lady. Okay, so you're recreating that position. So what we'd like for you to do now is, on your own, we've given you a sample question. We would like for you as a group, take that question and whatever background knowledge that you have in regards to it, but create a thesis statement using the position of an argument. So give an argument and give us reasons how you're going to prove your argument.